Have you ever dreamed of waking up one morning and just speaking English freely, naturally, without translating every word in your head? Imagine meeting someone new, smiling, and answering their questions in English without that tiny moment of panic that usually hits right before you open your mouth. What if I told you there's a simple, almost magical secret hidden inside just 300 words that can make you fluent in English faster than any grammar book or vocabulary list ever could? That's right, 300 words. No fancy textbooks, no endless memorization, no boring grammar drills. Just a small, focused collection of words that can completely transform the way you speak. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through how this 300-word secret can change your life, how it works, and exactly how you can start using it today to reach true English fluency. Take a deep breath. This is not another study harder speech. This is a new way of seeing English, a way that finally feels natural, human, and fun. Let's begin with a truth that every English learner eventually realizes. The more you study grammar, the more stuck you sometimes feel. You know the rules, you've memorized the tenses, you can write perfect sentences, but when it's time to speak, everything disappears. Your mind freezes, your tongue locks, and all you can think is, why can't I say it? The reason is simple. You're trying to build a conversation word by word, rule by rule, and that's not how fluent speakers talk. Native speakers don't think of grammar while they speak. They don't plan tenses, they don't calculate sentence structures, they just use familiar patterns, small groups of words they've heard thousands of times. That's exactly what this method is about. You're going to build your own mental library of 300 core English words, your core English vocabulary, and then learn to use them inside real-life phrases. Now, let me tell you why this works so beautifully. Language is like music. When you play a song, you don't think about each individual note. You play in patterns, in rhythm, in flow. Speaking English is the same. Fluency comes from rhythm, not perfection. It comes from connection, not memorization. So when you focus on your 300 words and use them in phrases, you're actually teaching your brain to play English like music. You're training it to move smoothly from one sound to the next, one thought to the next, without stopping to translate. That's the real power behind the phrase, "speak English confidently." Confidence isn't about knowing everything. Confidence is about being comfortable with what you know and using it boldly. Let's make this real. Think about your everyday life. You introduce yourself, you talk about your job, your hobbies, your plans, your family, your feelings. Almost every conversation you have fits into a few basic patterns. And guess what? You don't need thousands of words to express those things. You just need the right ones, the ones that appear again and again in natural English conversation. Words like want, need, think, feel, like, go, come, make, give, take, time, people, day, work, life. These are the heartbeat of English. When you combine them with simple phrases, you unlock hundreds of real sentences you can use instantly. For example, I want to learn English. I need more time. I feel happy today. I like your idea. I have to go now. 5 small phrases built from just a few of your core words, and you can already express a lot. Now imagine expanding that to 300 words. With those, you can build thousands of sentences, real, natural, flowing English sentences. You can describe your opinions, tell stories, ask questions, share your dreams. You can talk with anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's English fluency. Not perfection, not speed, but freedom. Freedom to express what's inside you. Here's what I want you to remember. Fluency doesn't begin with speaking. It begins with feeling. When you feel the rhythm of English, when you feel comfortable using your 300 words, your speech starts flowing automatically. The fear of making mistakes fades away. Your focus shifts from grammar to meaning, from accuracy to communication, and that's when you start speaking English confidently. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How can 300 words possibly make me fluent? English has thousands. You're right. English has thousands of words. But here's the magic. In daily life, native speakers use a small portion of them over and over again. Linguists call it the core vocabulary, the words that appear in about 80% of everyday conversations. So if you learn these 300 core words deeply, really understand them, use them, and combine them naturally, you'll already be speaking the language of everyday life. You'll have enough tools to survive any situation, enough confidence to start any conversation, and enough fluency to keep it going. Think of it like this. Your 300 words are your foundation. They're the soil where your fluency grows. Once your foundation is strong, adding new words becomes easy. They just stick, because now you have a living structure in your mind, a place where every new word belongs. And that's when you start thinking in English instead of translating. You begin to dream in English, to respond instantly, to feel the language instead of studying it. That's the goal. That's English fluency. Before we move on, take a second to imagine your ideal version of yourself speaking English. You're smiling, relaxed, words flow easily, you enjoy the sound of your own voice. That's not a fantasy. That's your future self, built on this 300-word secret. In the next part, we'll break down exactly how to choose your 300 core words, how to organize them, and how to practice them daily so your progress feels natural and unstoppable. Stay tuned, and remember, fluency isn't far away. It's just 300 words ahead.
Welcome back. Now that you understand why this 300-word method works, let's move from idea to action. Let's choose your words. These are not just any words, they are the heartbeat of your English fluency. You see, language is built around patterns. Every sentence you hear on the street, in movies, or in songs comes from a tiny group of words that appear again and again. When you master those, you don't just know English, you live it. So step 1. Build your list of core English vocabulary. Take a sheet of paper and draw 3 columns. Label them actions, things, feelings, and ideas. Now start writing the most common words you use daily in your own language, then translate them into English. For example, under actions, you might write go, come, make, do, say, tell, want, need, think. Under things, food, water, day, work, life, people, home, time, money. Under feelings and ideas, happy, sad, tired, good, bad, important, beautiful, easy, difficult. Congratulations! You've already begun your journey to English fluency. Now, here's what makes this powerful. These words are not random. They represent your world. They're personal. And because they are connected to your real life, they stick in your memory naturally. Learning words you never use is like buying clothes you never wear. They just sit in your closet, untouched, forgotten. But learning the words you live with every day, those become your voice. Let's go a bit deeper. Once you've listed your first 100 words, start grouping them into mini families. For example, Go, went, going, gone. Movement family. Make, made, build, create. Creation family. Feel, felt, happy, excited. Emotion family. When you practice them together, your brain starts to see connections. That's how you move from memorization to real understanding. And remember this simple rule. Don't learn words, learn phrases. Let's test that right now. Take the word need. You can say, I need help, I need time, I need to go, I need a new phone. Just one word creates hundreds of useful sentences. That's the power of a core word. Now take think. I think it's good. I think you're right. I think we should try. Again, one word, endless possibilities. The magic happens when you practice these phrases until they become reflexes. You don't need to remember rules, you just feel what sounds right. That's when you begin to speak English confidently. Here's a simple daily plan you can start today. Each morning, choose 10 of your core words. Write 5 sentences for each. Say them out loud. Don't whisper, speak with energy. If you can, record yourself. Then listen back. At first, you might feel awkward. That's okay. Every new skill feels awkward before it feels natural. But after a week, you'll notice something amazing. Your tongue starts moving faster. Your mind starts thinking in English. The words start to flow. And that's what we call momentum, the real engine of fluency. Now let's add another powerful technique, situational practice. Instead of studying words in isolation, imagine your daily life situations. You're at a coffee shop. What do you say? I want a cup of coffee, please. Can I get some milk? How much is it? You're talking to a friend. What are you doing this weekend? Let's go for a walk. I had a great day. Every sentence you practice in context becomes 10 times stronger in your memory. So when you're out in the real world, the words come out automatically. That's real English fluency, speaking without thinking too hard. Here's another exercise you'll love, the daily mini-story. Pick 10 of your core words and write a short story, 5 lines only. For example, today I woke up late, I made coffee and called my friend. We talked about our week. I felt happy because I had time to relax. It was a good day. That tiny story uses 10 simple words from your list, but when you speak it out loud, you practice grammar, rhythm, and emotion all at once. You're training your brain to build sentences without thinking about grammar rules. That's how you learn to speak English confidently in real situations. Now let's talk about pronunciation and sound. When you say your phrases, don't rush. Focus on how the words connect. Native speakers don't speak word by word, they link them. I want to becomes I wanna. Going to becomes gonna. These are not grammar mistakes, they're rhythmic patterns of real spoken English. When you start to feel the flow, you start to feel like a native speaker. That's the music of English, the heartbeat of English fluency. You may notice that I keep saying feel it. That's because fluency is not a mental game, it's a physical skill. It lives in your tongue, your mouth, your ears, your body. So every day, move your mouth. Say the words out loud. Laugh at your mistakes. Enjoy the sound of your progress, because the moment you start to enjoy English, you start to own it. Now, let's talk about time and consistency. A lot of learners ask, how many hours should I study each day? Here's my answer. Study a little bit every day, not a lot once a week. 10 minutes daily is better than 2 hours on Sunday, because language learning is about connection, not cramming. Your brain loves repetition and routine. So set a timer for 10 minutes every day. Speak your phrases while you walk, cook, or shower. Make English a part of your life, not a separate task. That's how you build habit and momentum. That's how you reach English fluency. Let's pause for a moment and reflect. You've learned how to choose your words, how to build phrases, how to practice daily, and how to connect with real life. You've begun a journey most people never start, the journey from translation to thinking in English. In the next part, we'll take this further. You'll learn how to turn your phrases into real conversations, how to train with native-like rhythm, and how to build unstoppable confidence in your voice. Because the goal isn't just to speak, the goal is to connect, to inspire, to express yourself freely in English. Stay with me and get ready for Part 3, Real Conversation Training and Confidence Building.
So you've built your list of 300 core English words. You've started creating short sentences and mini stories. Now it's time to step into the real world, where fluency truly grows. Because learning words is easy. Using them to connect with people, that's where the real magic happens. When you talk with someone in English, your brain lights up. It's like switching from theory to action. Everything you've been studying suddenly becomes alive. And that's exactly where you start to speak English confidently. Let's talk about the first skill, listening to real English. Most learners focus only on speaking, but fluency begins with listening. When you hear native speakers talk, you're training your ear to recognize rhythm, tone, and flow. That rhythm later becomes your own. Start small. Watch short clips. Listen to English podcasts, or even songs. But don't just hear the words, feel them. Notice how native speakers connect sounds. Notice how they pause, how their voice goes up and down. Then repeat after them. Imitate the sound, the emotion, the music. This is called shadowing. Shadowing is one of the most powerful techniques for building English fluency. It trains your tongue and your brain to move together, like a dancer following the beat. Here's how to do it. Find a 1-minute audio clip, maybe a scene from your favorite movie. Play one sentence, pause, repeat it exactly, copying the rhythm and emotion. Then play the next one. At first, it feels hard. You'll miss some words, you'll stumble, but don't stop. After a few days, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start predicting what comes next. Your mouth will move more naturally. Your confidence will rise. That's the real training behind Speak English Confidently. Now let's move to the second skill, thinking in English. This may sound strange, but it's the secret door to fluency. The moment you stop translating, you start living in English. To train this, practice English moments throughout your day. When you wake up, think, I need to brush my teeth. When you eat breakfast, say, this coffee tastes great. When you go outside, notice, the sky looks beautiful today. These simple moments turn your 300 core English words into living thoughts. You're no longer switching languages. You're building an English world inside your mind. And here's the truth. Fluency isn't about knowing more words. It's about thinking faster with the ones you already know. That's what separates someone who studies English from someone who actually lives it. Now let's talk about confidence, the emotional side of fluency. You can have perfect vocabulary, clear grammar, and still freeze when you speak. Why? Because fear gets in the way. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of sounding silly. But here's something you need to remember. Confidence doesn't come before you speak. It comes because you speak. Every time you open your mouth and try, your brain learns courage. Every mistake is a small victory. Every conversation is progress. So instead of avoiding English, run toward it. Talk to strangers online. Join language groups. Comment on videos. Send voice messages. You'll be surprised how kind people are when they see you trying. Here's a simple confidence ritual you can start today. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. Smile. Say out loud, "I am learning English. I am improving every day. I can speak English confidently." Repeat it 3 times. You may laugh at yourself, and that's okay. That laughter means you're relaxed, and a relaxed brain learns faster. Do this daily. You're not just learning English, you're building a new version of yourself. A version that believes, that acts, that connects. That's real English fluency, not just words, but emotion and energy. Now let's add another layer. Conversation templates. Conversation templates are pre-built sentence patterns you can use in any situation. They save you from panic when your mind goes blank. Here are a few powerful examples. I'm not sure, but I think. In my opinion. Could you tell me more about? That's interesting because I totally agree with you. Each one can start or continue a conversation easily. Combine them with your 300 core English words and you'll never run out of things to say. Let's see this in action. Imagine someone asks, "What do you think about learning languages?" You could answer, "I'm not sure, but I think it's really exciting. It helps people connect." Simple, natural, confident. That's all you need to keep a conversation alive. And when conversations flow, your confidence grows automatically. You stop worrying about grammar because you're focused on connection. And that's the secret to real English fluency. Now let's add another great exercise, the 2-minute talk. Choose a topic, any topic. It could be travel, food, movies, your city, your family, or your dreams. Set a timer for 2 minutes, then speak in English non-stop until the timer ends. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't stop to fix grammar. Just keep talking. At first, you might struggle to fill the time, but after a week of practice, you'll surprise yourself. You'll go beyond 2 minutes. You'll start to use new words naturally. You'll start to feel fluent. Because fluency is not about speed, it's about flow. And this exercise builds exactly that. Now let's bring everything together. You've learned to listen actively. You've learned to think in English. You've practiced confidence, and you've started real conversations. Now you're not just learning words, you're learning rhythm, tone, and self-expression. You're building your English personality. That's the beauty of this method. You don't just study English, you become English in your own unique way. You still have your culture, your accent, your story, but now you can share it with the world in another language. That's not just speaking English confidently, that's expanding your identity. Let's wrap up this section with one final mindset shift. Stop seeing English as a subject. Start seeing it as a skill you can practice, improve, and enjoy. Just like playing guitar, cooking, or dancing, you get better by doing it, not by thinking about it. So use your 300 words. Speak them. Live them. Build your fluency one phrase, one smile, one conversation at a time. Because you're closer than you think. Your English voice is already inside you. You're just unlocking it. In the next and final part, you'll learn how to keep your progress growing forever, how to expand your 300-word foundation, how to maintain motivation, and how to make English a joyful part of your daily life so you never lose your fluency again. Stay with me for Part 4, Lifelong Fluency and Daily English Mastery. Welcome back. And congratulations, you've come a long way. You've learned how to build your 300-word foundation, how to turn words into sentences, how to train your confidence, and how to bring English into your real life. Now it's time for the final step, how to make your fluency last forever. Because fluency isn't a finish line, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you achieve and forget. It's something you live every single day. Let's talk about how to keep your English fluency strong, natural, and effortless for life. First, understand this. Your brain learns through repetition, but it remembers through emotion. If your English practice feels boring, your brain will slowly let it go. But if it feels alive, fun, emotional, connected, it will stick forever. So from now on, make your English practice emotional. Choose topics that make you feel something: happiness, curiosity, pride, even anger. If you love music, learn English through songs. If you love movies, learn through dialogues. If you love stories, read short tales and act them out loud. Emotion gives language meaning, and meaning gives you memory. That's how you make your 300 core English words come alive. Next, let's talk about expanding your vocabulary naturally. Once you've mastered your 300 core words, don't rush to memorize thousands more. Instead, let new words find you. Here's how. Every time you watch a video or read an article, write down just 1 or 2 new words that catch your attention. Look them up. Understand them. Use them in a sentence with your core vocabulary. For example, if the new word is discover, combine it with your existing words. I discovered a new way to learn English. Or, I discovered that speaking daily makes me more confident. This method keeps your learning natural and personal. You're not studying a list, you're expanding your world. That's what real English fluency looks like, growing one step at a time in real life. Now, let's talk about the one thing that destroys fluency faster than anything else: fear of forgetting. So many learners panic when they forget words, but here's the truth: forgetting is part of learning. Every time you forget and remember again, your memory becomes stronger. Think of it like lifting weights. Each repetition builds strength. So when you forget, smile, because your brain is just making space for deeper learning. Be patient with yourself. Fluency is not perfection, it's progress. Here's another secret. Teach what you learn. It doesn't matter if you're not a teacher. When you explain something you've learned to someone else, you understand it 10 times better. So tell your friend about the 300-word method. Share your daily phrases on social media. Post a short video where you speak in English for 1 minute. When you share, you don't just practice, you inspire. And when people thank you, something powerful happens. You realize your voice matters. You realize you can speak English confidently and help others do the same. That feeling creates unstoppable motivation. Now let's talk about your environment. Surround yourself with English. Change your phone's language settings. Follow English-speaking creators online. Watch content without subtitles. Listen to English while cooking, cleaning, walking. You don't need to study all day. You just need to stay connected. Make English your background music. Let it live around you, and soon it will live inside you. That's how you move from studying English to living in English. Let's take a moment to imagine your future. A year from now, you walk into a cafe abroad. The waiter greets you in English. You smile, reply easily, maybe even joke a little. You don't translate, you just speak. You feel calm, you feel confident, you feel free. That's what this journey is leading you toward. Not just speaking, but expressing yourself fully. That's real English fluency. Let's make your fluency permanent with a simple 3-step daily routine. Step 1, speak. Spend 5 minutes speaking aloud. Use your 300 words or pick a topic and just talk. Don't worry about mistakes. Speak for flow. Step 2, listen. Spend another 5 minutes listening to something you enjoy. A podcast, a song, a movie clip. Repeat what you hear. Shadow it. Step 3, reflect. Before bed, think about your day in English. What did I do today? What made me happy? What can I improve tomorrow? That's just 15 minutes. But if you do it every day, in 1 year, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. Small steps create big change. Now let's talk about the mindset that keeps you growing forever. Progress over perfection. Perfection kills joy. Progress builds power. Every mistake is a sign you're trying. Every hesitation is a doorway to improvement. Every awkward moment is proof you're learning something new. Fluent speakers aren't people who never make mistakes. They're people who never quit. So keep speaking even when it's not perfect. Keep laughing at your own errors. Keep showing up. Because the real secret to speak English confidently isn't just 300 words. It's consistency, courage, and curiosity. And finally, remember this. You're not learning English to impress anyone. You're learning it to express yourself, to share your ideas, your dreams, your voice with the world. You're learning it to connect, to make friends across borders, to open new doors, to live bigger. That's what fluency really means. It's not about sounding perfect. It's about feeling free. So keep going. Your voice matters. Your progress matters. And your 300 words are just the beginning. Take a moment now. Look back at where you started. Maybe you were shy. Maybe you doubted yourself. But you showed up. You learned. You practiced. You grew. And now you can stand tall and say, I can speak English confidently. I am fluent. I am proud of how far I've come. Before you go, let me ask you for one small thing. If this message helped you, if you learned something new today, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with one friend who also wants to learn English. Because together, we can help thousands of learners find their voice, one word at a time. Remember, you don't need thousands of words to be fluent. You just need the right 300 and the courage to use them. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing. And most of all, thank you for speaking. I'll see you in the next video.